Oh, yes guys, what is going on? And welcome back to another video. I'm in the Hyundai i20N, a car that I believe, could be one of the most engaging hot hatches on the market currently. So, I'm out of breath because I did a lot of running around and I've done like 3 takes. Because I keep calling it Hyundai, but it's Hyundai. Why'd you have to pop right next to me, bruv? So, power-wise anyway, because everyone loves to hear the power numbers and stuff. 201 brake horsepower, 275 newton meters of torque, and I know what you're thinking, it doesn't sound like much, but trust me, this thing weighs, wait for it, 1200 kg, or thereabouts anyway, but I just thought 1200 sounds better. That's literally, I can bench, okay, maybe not me, but 2 heavy northern men could probably bench press that together. Okay, probably that's a push, but you get what I'm trying to say. This is light, and you can definitely feel that. This car is epic. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know it's a press car, so I haven't been pushing it. But I threw this thing, I'm not gonna lie. Man threw this thing into one of the bends and this thing cornered like something else. It's got a mechanical LSD. It's a fancy word for it, I can't remember, I'm gonna be honest with you. But most, I don't know, hot hatches nowadays have got something called an E-diff, and don't get me wrong, I know financially it probably makes sense and for day-to-day it probably makes sense, but this thing isn't made to be just a day-to-day beast. This thing can go out on a track day with a set of semi-slicks on and it will do a job easily. And the mechanical diff, I can't explain it well enough because my lingo isn't good enough, but this thing just out of corners and into corners, it's another level, man. Forget the E-diff. This is definitely what you want. Trust me, daddy. And in case you're wondering what that beeping is, it's telling me to change. You can even change that setting as to where the red line is. There's a little symbol on the screen in the LCD cockpit, and it says 6.5, but I'm quite sure if you wanted to, you could definitely push this thing to 7, but there is no need because you get loads of that power, all in the mid-range. Don't really have to rev the nuts off it, but when you do, I'll touch on this exhaust later. Oh man, it's bang on. And into a 30. Jeez. I can't tell you enough. This thing is a lovely little package. Rev matching, it does the full works. So if you watch the channel quite often, you'd know that I drive quite a few hatchbacks, and this is quite unique. Now on the exterior you can see Hyundai are not messing around. You've got a nice little honeycomb design grille at the front with a little M badge in the corner. You've got 215 tyres front and rear on 18s. I do like the setup on this. The colour, the spec is bang on. There is an option to get a 2-tone roof. I probably would spec that as well just to break up the red a bit, but yeah, overall looks wise it's a no-brainer. 5 doors, and this spec in particular anyway is £25,000. You can't really go wrong with that price. So moving into the interior, you've got 2 N buttons on the sides of the steering wheel. You've got one that controls your drive modes and this one that controls your N modes and your custom modes, because you've got 2 of those. You can actually change what these buttons do, which is great as well. You've also got a red rev button which allows you to control whether you want the car to rev match for you. You've got a nice instrument cluster, not too fancy. It does everything that it says on the tin. Your huge infotainment system over there. We've got physical climate control buttons, which is great to see in a new car, and the all-important 6-speed manual. Seats are very comfy. They are manual, which is great, meaning you can get them nice and low down because there's no electronic mechanisms down there. And in the rear, ample space, big enough space to put an ISOFIX and a baby seat that's going to rattle loads when you're filming a YouTube video. So while we're just cruising through this inner part, we've got 3 drive modes: Eco, Normal and Sport. But I don't use Sport, I prefer the N because the N's more customizable. Eco, I'm going to say this quickly because there's a national speed limit ahead. Eco, I think it does something to the aircon, makes it use less power. Steering wheel gets a bit weightier. Normal, everything's nice and light. You can activate the rev match if you wanted to, but once you press this M button and the screen changes and you downshift into second, the rev matches happen automatically and it just wants to go. You can see the diff just gets gripped immediately. Oh man, guys, I cannot tell you this enough. When this thing sees S-bends, it tells you to put it in N mode. Like, look at that. Not an ounce of understeer. Oh my gosh. Guys, take my word for it. This thing is a joke, man. I literally am like a little kid. Literally, I cannot wait to get out and drive this thing every day. I have done some, I don't know, commuter miles to taking it to work and whatnot. And this thing just excites me all the time. Wow, man. Wow. And it's a manual. And I'm not the biggest fan of a manual. I love an automatic flappy paddle gearbox. But this, it's an African thing. If you're impressed with something, you shake your head. This thing here, hey, this thing another level. It's another level. Hey. We'll touch on the exhaust later as well, because I know you can hear it. I know you love it, and it's savage. Something that I did notice, and this isn't a negative, but I just want to make sure I mention it. This thing wants to be in the right revs. So if it's low, if you change gear too early, it kind of gets stuck, and it's like, why are you doing this to me? You know where we want to be. We want to be in between 3 and 5. Don't even think about trying to be economical. But if you look after it and push it out of the bends, wait till it 5.5, up you go. It will kiss you, it will massage you, it will rub your toes if you're into that sort of stuff, all day and all night. Oh my gosh, wow. Hyundai, give me one of these, give me this, give me some. Give me. Oh man, this thing is, oh man, wow. Day to day, it is usable, but something that I can complain about for sure is the suspension. On roads like this where you're hooning, it's great, but day to day, if you work in an area that has speed bumps on the way to work sort of thing, it is harsh, very harsh. I had the wife in the back. She wasn't a happy bunny. She was not a happy bunny. And this is what happens when you do go for an N model, or I don't know, the sportier model of a hot hatch. You know that it's not going to be the most comfortable thing in the world, but this thing is definitely on the harsher side of suspension. Like I said, if it's just you driving the car, it's not a problem because you're in a good, comfortable seat. You've got loads of space. You can use all the drive modes. Like I said, you've got Eco, which once you do that, like I mentioned, the valve shut, the car just becomes a normal car. Normal's practically the same thing, but just reduces the power of some of your systems. And then Sport is literally like N mode, but just the more basic version and not the more customizable version. Because boy, this thing's epic. Like, let me press the M mode again. We've got this N mode on the screen here, and as soon as you swipe, you can change everything from the engine, which is the throttle response, steering weight, the traction control level. You can go from sport to off, exhaust sound, and the rev matching. But I believe that there isn't much difference between Sports Plus and Sports. The rev matching is just rev matching no matter what. And then you can activate the launch control. 3, 2, 1, performance box touch active. Come on. Come on. Get the torque. 60. Woohoo! And here we have it. 0 to 30, 2.95, and 0 to 60 in 6.76. Not bad. So the question is, this or a Fiesta ST? I haven't driven a Fiesta ST, but what I would say is, this as a package, and going off the fact that the i20N is such a great road weapon, I'd like to think that this would be all over an ST. But guys, as usual, if you have enjoyed this video, please smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Is that a Hyundai as well? Hey, Hyundai! Hyundai friends! Have a look at that. That is an i20 in front, and this is an i20N, even though this is a 2013 model. Look how far they've come. Fish, the future is going to be serious. Shall I overtake him? No, I'm only joking. Calm down, calm down. Don't worry about it, Maureen. Just go about your business. I've sent it enough. Take care, guys.